Hey everyone, this is Chase at Rocky Mountain ATV here with another bike build on the 2019 YZ250F. All right, so I'm sure most of you out there know for 2019, Yamaha, they come out with the all new YZ250F this year. If you want to see, we did a video on the first impressions where I ride the bike bone stock. I give my initial impressions after that. So if you want to see that, also learn about all the major changes that Yamaha made to this bike, make sure to watch that video. We break it all down. We have a list of all the changes that were made. But needless to say that this year, Yamaha, I feel, has done a really good job with this bike. It got all the major updates that we saw with the YZ450F in 2018. So they updated the frame. This year, new motor. So they want to increase the mid to top range on this bike, which they did a great job with. It did lose a little bit of bottom end, but we'll talk about how you can fix that. But overall, this bike just handles really well. They're electric start now. They stuck with the spring forks, which, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So Yamaha's never strayed from that. So props to them for doing that. And what's awesome about the new 2019 YZ250F is there's not a lot you need to do to this bike, honestly, to have it race ready. And that's what makes it such an awesome bike to have. So if you are considering buying one of these, I say go for it. It's a killer bike. But today we just want to go through. First, we'll talk about what we feel this bike does need, because every bike, you know, from stock trim, there are some things that we feel will make it better. We'll talk about some of the other parts that are nice to have. And then if you got that extra money lying around, you want to add some cool looking parts to your bike just to make it your own, we'll talk about those as well. So first thing we'll cover with this bike is with the suspension. So like I said earlier, the 250, that is something that Yamaha's been known for. They had the spring fork in the front, KYB suspension. What we felt with this bike, depending on your weight, it's really important no matter what bike you buy. You always want to have your spring rates and your valving set up accordingly to how much you weigh, your riding style, and also your riding level. So make sure you're doing that. But with this bike, I'm about 175 pounds. To me, it felt soft, and that's pretty expected for my weight. So what we did is we actually sent it off to MX1 Suspension. They're down in St. George, Utah. These guys have done a great job. They do a lot of bikes for us. And we just had them go through the valve and just have a little bit more hold up, so it didn't dive quite as much, because we did feel like the bike had a little bit of a pitchy sensation under decel and hard braking. So to help those forks stay up a little bit to prevent that pitchiness, we just had the valving done, you know, had the spring rates changed. And overall, you know, MX1, they've done a great job. So the bike now feels a lot, you know, really well balanced. As far as fork height goes, 5 millimeters is what we think is really good to give a good balance. And then as far as sag, about 104, 105 millimeters of sag is kind of what we found is going to be the sweet spot. So suspension, really good. As far as the motor goes, so for 2019, Yamaha wanted to, you know, increase the mid to top, because for the previous bikes, they felt like it signed off a little bit early, and they actually did that. Now, because they went and added that mid to top, they lost a little bit on the bottom end. So there's a couple ways that you can fix that to get some of that bottom end back without losing that mid to top. And the first one is with an FMF pipe. So we've got actually just the silencer on here. What we found is that the full system, it helped with the mid to top, but it actually didn't quite help, or even lost a little bit on that bottom end. So if you go with just the silencer, you're gonna save weight, but also it helps with the bottom end, but it helps with that mid to top, but you don't lose any of that bottom end. So if you are looking for an aftermarket system, we would recommend just starting out with just the silencer and go from there. And then as far as the mapping goes, probably my favorite thing about Yamaha and what they do with their 450 and 250 is their Power Tuner app. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know about this, but they have a built-in Wi-Fi box here on the left side number plate. And what's awesome about it is you download the Power Tuner app, it's free. And once you've done that, they actually allow you to change the mapping and ignition on your bike from your phone. So it's really cool that you can go in and actually customize your maps to do that. So what we've actually done is they have a couple maps that come stock that are built in the Power Tuner app, but you can go in and change it. So Kris Keefer, he actually came up with a couple maps that we uploaded to this bike, you know, and if you click on the link after this video, you can see those maps. You can upload them right to your own bike as well. But it's cool. So we have a map from Kris that we uploaded. It's called the aggressive map, and it gives good hit at the bottom, but you don't lose that mid to top. So make sure, take advantage of that Power Tuner app that Yamaha gives you to actually change the mapping on your bike. So like I said, suspension's really good. Just make sure to get it valved, get the spring rates right. As far as the engine goes, if you are looking for a little bit more performance, there's a couple modifications that we feel are really gonna help this bike. And then from there, It's really important, just make the bike feel comfortable to you. Make sure the rider cockpit, your handlebars are set up the way you want it. So this bike, we kind of have it set up for a motocross and a work style racing bike. So what we did is up in the front, we actually had the Fast Company Flex handlebars. If you're not familiar with these, they have isolation dampers here at the pivot point. So it just adds a little bit of vibration dampening, so it's not gonna be as strenuous on your hands and your wrist and your body as you're riding. So pretty cool set of handlebars. We've got the 12-degree moto bend on here. But what I really like too is that the handlebar clamps is this one-piece handlebar clamp from Ride Engineering. So these are awesome because they have a lot more torsional rigidity. So if you have a crash or something simple as a tip over, it makes it a lot harder for the handlebars to twist or get bent. So especially in a racing situation, the last thing you want to do is get up, have to straighten your handlebars out before you go back out and ride. So I really like these, but what's cool about this one that we have on this bike is that Ride Engineering came out with this new clamp that actually has a cutaway that will work with the GPX or the GPR or the Scott steering stabilizer. So if you want to run a stabilizer, they will now work with this specific mount. So really cool, the setup that we have up in the front. Obviously, when it comes to levers and handguards, if you're racing off-road, handguards we say are a must-have. So we've got the Tusk D-Flex handguards on here. Breakaway levers, if you have the extra cash, I always say that's one of the must-have accessories on a bike, so you're not worried about breaking your levers off when you're out riding. So we've actually have the Streamline Reflex breakaway levers on here, so we've got the brake and the clutch side. Really comfortable. I like the shape of the levers. I like that they have a bit of a rough, kind of a rougher texture to them, so just a little bit of grip, but breakaway levers that we really like. Now up in the front, on the front wheel, another accessory, especially for off-road riding, we feel you should really get on your bike is some protection for your discs. So we've actually got the Polysport disc guard on there. So actually nice because it adds protection to your rotor, but also to the bottom of your fork legs. So really good accessory to have from Polysport. Another accessory that I would highly recommend is gonna be a skid plate. So we've got the Works Connection Titan skid plate on here. Lightweight, made of super thick, hard plastic. So not gonna add a lot of weight to your bike, but it gives you that protection you're gonna want. And then up on the fork, if you're gonna be racing, you gotta get that hole shot. So hole shot device, we have the Pro Launch from Works Connection. I really like these. They're spring loaded, very easy to use, install super simple. And trust me guys, when it comes to starts, a hole shot device does make a big difference. Now another great accessory I feel to have on any bike are radiator braces. Radiators are not cheap and they do bend or break pretty easily in a crash or even just something like a tip over. So we've got the Works Connection radiator braces on here. So they have these in two different options. You have the standard and the factory finish, which is a black powder coated. So depending on your budget, I'd definitely say get some radiator braces on there. That's gonna help protect your radiators. And next up, I would say one thing that you don't have to do, but definitely for me makes a big difference are foot pegs. So going to an oversized foot peg from stock just helps give a little bit of added grip, bigger platform to be on your bike. So just for me, makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more planted to the bike. So we've got the Tusk billet race foot pegs on here. Really good price point on these, really good value. They're gonna be oversized and I think they just do a great job of just adding some extra grip to your boots. Now from there, again, there are gonna be some accessories on your bike that are nice to have if you have the extra money. And so some of those are gonna be the full hints and clutch setup that we have on this bike. So clutch components, a lot of riders kind of overlook that, but they do add performance to your bike. And so what's nice about the hints and clutch is that it's a full billet system. So as far as long-term durability and longevity, you really do get your money's worth when you're investing in one of these clutch systems. So if you have the money, you want just a little bit an upgrade to your clutch, hints and clutch would be an awesome route to take. From there, if we look down, Tusk impact wheel set that we have on this bike, we've got the black rims with the blue hubs. So again, really good value on those. They hold up extremely well. I've been running the Tusk impact wheels for years. They do an incredible job. Also, just give a really cool look to your bike. Looking at those Tusk wheels, we've got primary drive components on there. So we've got the sprockets and the chain for primary drive. On top of those, we've got the new Dunlop MX33 tires. So these tires are brand new this year from Dunlop. What I love about them is you're still getting that traction and that predictability that you expect from Dunlop, but especially in the front tire, big improvement with the 33 from the previous 32 where the knobs don't rip, they don't break off, and the tire gives really good front end traction. So a tire that you can just really trust. And then from there, as you're gonna see, we just got a lot of cool components on here. We got some anodized components from Tusk just to give a cool customized look to the bike. So if you wanna do that, you can. And to finish it all off, we've got an Attack Graphics seat cover. And then of course, gotta have a graphic kit, protect your plastics, get your logos on there, your name, your number. So Attack Graphics, in-house brand at Rocky Mountain. These guys do an incredible job, really cool designs to choose from. You can do a full customized kit or you can do just your number plates, a lot of cool options to choose from. But that is it. that is our 2019 YZ250F bike build. Leave us your thoughts, your comments, your questions below. We'll get your questions answered. If you want to see a list, pick up all the parts that we talked about in this video. Remember, just click on the link at the end. Remember, watch that first ride review if you want to see my thoughts and impressions on this bike bone stock. Remember guys, get subscribed to our YouTube channel. That's gonna keep you up to date on the latest bike builds that we're doing, first impressions on new bikes, as well as product spotlights, buyer's guides, everything that you need. Get rocking and rolling. I'm Chase, we'll see you on the trails. Gotta stay around.